Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Militarum Tempestus tactics video. Today we will be continuing our basic tactics series for the Militarum Tempestus. This series is aimed at people both experienced and to Warhammer 40k as a whole, but maybe a little bit less experienced towards the Militarum Tempestus. It's aimed at newer guard commanders who may be wanting to add scions to their force, or old guard commanders who are willing to take the plunge and go full on pure Militarum Tempestus. It's basically aimed at anyone who is thinking about getting some stormtroopers in their army, and the series is there to cover essentially the basic do's and don'ts when it comes to Tempestus Scions, and it arms you with that knowledge to make good decisions. No point in taking one of the best regiments in the Imperial Guard and then giving them wrong equipment and using their units incorrectly. So, there you go. So, we've already covered things like the basic principles of the Militarum Tempestus, how they are a fast, mobile force which needs the momentum to survive, and if they lose that momentum, they will very quickly be swept from the battlefield. We've gone through their basic weapon, the Hotshot lasgun, and we've talked about the grenade launcher. Well, now we're going to be looking at another unique weapon for the Tempestus, other than the Hotshot lasgun. We're going to be looking at the Hotshot Volley gun. Now, straight away, I want to say this is one of the coolest weapons Games Workshop has ever made. It's a really unique weapon, and it's very, very niche. You will only find it on the Militarum Tempestus squads. You will find it nowhere else. Space Marines can't take it. Other Imperial Guard factions can't take it. No other faction really has access to hotshot weaponry, and especially not the hotshot lasgun, hotshot volley gun, I should say. So, for such a unique weapon, what actually is it? Well, essentially, it is a light support weapon. It is. When I've done a little bit looking into it, it's a lasgun that can lay down an absolutely punishing rate of firepower. A hotshot lasgun. And it's almost like it's almost the equivalent of maybe a light machine gun by today's standards. It's a squad portable one-man support weapon. It's not as big as a heavy stubber, which is a full-on heavy weapon that can only be mounted on vehicles. It's not a heavy bolter. It's not a two-man weapon. It's not a traditional sort of support weapon like special weapon like a grenade launcher or a plasma gun or a melter gun, which are all, you know, rarely unique special weapons. This is the equivalent of a squad support weapon. So it's very, very unique in that manner. It's something that I've always said that guard units should have access to some sort of light machine gun. I've always said they should, if there's a heavy stubber, there should be a light stubber that the guard could take as a special weapon that puts something out like, you know, 3 or 4 strength 3 shots or something like that. Just something. Well, now the Militarum Tempestus have that, which is very, very cool. So, as per an FAQ or a codex change, I can't remember exactly, but the Hotshot Volley gun is now 7 points, so it's 1 point more than it used to be at 6 points. And for your 7 points, you get a heavy 4 weapon, strength 4, AP -2. Now, heavy 4 is very interesting. Okay, heavy 4 means you're getting 4 shots with this thing, whether you are at long range, which is 24 inches for this weapon, or you're at point blank range. It doesn't matter. This thing is a 24-inch range weapon, and at all times, it's putting out 4 shots. That's absolutely fantastic. Strength 4, AP -2. That is really a very powerful weapon. It's, you know, if Space Marines could take something like this, they really, really would. They take it all the time. However, as cool as the Hotshot Volley gun is, and as powerful, I mean, it is really, really good. If you take a squad of 10 Militarum Tempestus with 4 of these things in, and you set up a fire base, then any horde that tries to come towards you is going to get shredded. And even Space Marines tactical squads will wither under its firepower because it's strength 4. You're wounding those guys on 4s. Which is good. Very, very good. However, it does suffer from a couple of things. One is it's a heavy weapon. It's the only heavy weapon that you can take on your infantry units. And the problem with it being a heavy weapon is that -1 to hit. If you move with it, it is -1 to hit. And Tempestus are a mobile army. They're a very mobile army. You don't realistically want to be standing still with them. So that means you're almost always going to be on this -1 to hit. Not every time, but a lot of the time you're going through that -1 to hit. And if you have a -1 to hit, then you lose out on the Stormtrooper doctrine, which means if you get a 6 to hit, well, if you get a 6, then it's -1, that becomes a 5. If you get a 6 to hit, you won't be generating any extra shots with this thing. And then that sort of defeats the point, I guess, of having such a high rate of firepower. And yes, by Militarum Tempestus standards, this is a long-range weapon. It's a 24-inch range weapon. Most of their other ones, at peak efficiency, need to be within 12 inches, and the Hotshot lasguns need to be within 9 inches. So by Militarum Tempestus standards, this is a long-range weapon. But the problem is if you're using it as a long-range... by Militarum Tempestus standards, it's a long-range weapon. But by the Galaxy standard, by the rest of the army standard, it's not long-range. It's a normal range weapon. Which means you're going to have to move with it a few turns. Which means you're going to lose that maximum firepower. You're going to be hitting on 3s instead of 4s, and you're not going to be able to generate extra shots. So that's the heavy 4 is a real problem. Honestly, it should be an assault 4 weapon. It really should be assault 4. Honestly, the Militarum Tempestus army shouldn't really have any heavy weapons. Just shouldn't. Because any heavy weapon that you take in a Militarum Tempestus army just instantly becomes less useful. Instantly becomes just not a very optimal choice. Now, if these things were assault 4, then they would be really, really properly true contenders to the plasma gun. And I can tell you right now that I would be happy for them to be assault 4 and for them to be another 8 points. Not 8 points on top, but for them to be 8 points or 9 points. I'd happily pay a couple of extra points for these things to be assault 4 weapons. But they're not. And that's a real problem. Because these things, I have 2 of them in my Militarum Tempestus army, and I've never really been tempted to take any more. And I regularly use those 2. And I have some of the old Kazakin models, which their lasguns look a little bit like Hotshot Volley guns. So sometimes I use Kazakin as Hotshot Volley guns. So I have taken, a few of these things in my Tempestus army. But the problem is this: because they're a heavy weapon, they don't really fit anywhere. You don't want to put them on... if you could put them on command squads, taking 4 of these things, 16 shots would be amazing. But they're heavy. So if you deep strike them in, you're hitting 4s. That's only 8 hits. That's only 4 wounds. This is talking about killing Space Marines. This is what this thing is designed to kill. Only 8 hits. Only 4 wounds. Space Marines could easily pass 2 of their armor saves. You've killed 2 tactical Marines with a command squad. Compare that to plasma. You drop in, you get 8 shots. Okay, you're rerolling 1s to hit. Straight away you can use reroll 1s to hit. Don't forget, because of orders. Reroll 1s to hit will help the volley guns a little bit, but they'll massively help. The plasma. So you're going to get something like 7 hits. Then you're overcharged. You're going to get 6 wounds. And don't forget, because you are plasma guns are rapid fire, you have that ability to generate extra shots. So you could get from 8 plasma guns I regularly get 2 extra shots. Regularly. So that's 10 shots. Really wants to hit. That's 8 hits. That's 7 wounds. Space Marines are going to save 1. That's 6 Dead Marines. That is the majority of a tactical squad just gone. Just gone. So that's the difference. You know, and that's what you need your command squads to do. You need your command squads to come in, drop in, and annihilate a unit. Drop in, just destroy an enemy dreadnought. Drop in, just destroy an enemy transport. Drop in, just wipe out an enemy squad. Or cripple it so it can't do any more. And volley guns can't do that. Now if they were assault, they'd do a lot better. You'd have 16 shots. That's potential to quite easily generate 3 or 4 extra shots. So you look with rerolling ones to hit, you're looking at 20 shots. You're looking at roughly 14, 15 hits. Okay? And then you're looking at roughly 7 or 8 wounds, which will equate to about 5 or 6 dead marines. The same as the plasma guns. But these things aren't anywhere near as good at destroying other things. You know. They're nowhere near as good as destroying dreadnoughts, which is why they shouldn't be the same price as the plasma gun. They should be the same as, though they should just be like 9 points. But I'd rather with 9 points than their assault 4 weapons. Last thing I want to say, one other thing that makes the volley gun a bit of a choice is you already get them on your Taurox primes. Okay, you already get them on Taurox primes. If you're taking pure Militarum Tempestus, you're going to be taking 4, 5, or 6 Taurox primes. You've already got yourself 10 Hotshot volley guns there. Do you really need to put any more on your infantry units? The answer, probably not. You've already got it there. And the last thing is that, as we've already mentioned, you just don't really want, you could take a 10-man squad with these things, 10-man squad with 4 of them, and you drive your Taurox up, and you either sit them in cover, then maybe they're going to do some damage, but it's only 24 inch range. You can't cover whole swaths of the board with that. So there you go. So the Hotshot volley gun, just to summarise, is a really cool weapon, and it is still a very good weapon, because what you have to remember, this thing is so cheap. It's 7 points. And it is good. It's AP -2, strength 4. It packs a punch. But it has a couple of key flaws that stop it from being an auto include. Okay? Because with Militarum Tempestus, you want to be hitting hard constantly all the time. I tell you, there is one way that I think this weapon could really come into its own. Okay? And you take this in 10-man Scion squads. Okay? And you take these things in a Taurox prime. Okay? Now what you do is you pick an area that you want to lock down. That you want to go there and just be like, I'm locking this down, I'm taking it, the enemy is going to struggle to dig me out. Preferably some sort of objective in cover. You get to place your own objectives most of the time. Most of the time objectives will be placed in cover. Now these guys will do absolutely fantastic. You took a pair of Taurox primes with a Tempesta prime, able to deep strike in where you need him to. You take a pair of these squads in Taurox primes, you drive them to the location, you disembark. Now the first turn that you disembark, obviously you're going to be -1 to hit, but then you've parked up, you've taken this land, you've bite and hold tactics. You bite the land, you hold it, and so yes, the first turn you'll be on -1 to hit with all your, Taurox Gatling cannons, volley guns, and whatever. But then you're in. Your Taurox primes can lay down serious amounts of firepower, or they can go off and do the other thing. But you've got 20 Scions and a commander dug into a piece of cover, holding on to an objective. And for the enemy to come and take, and your units are OBSEC, so your opponent is going to have to try and send other OBSEC units against you. And that is 20 Scions dug into cover with orders. The enemy is going to have to try and dig you out with his own infantry. That is not easy for your opponent to do. So there are ways to make these things work. It's just they just don't really have an alpha strike potential. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.